Now, it's been quite some time since I made a video about elephant money, and previously I used to outline all the major stuff that these guys have been coming up with. The main purpose of everything that they did and still do, I hope at least, is to push Strong back to its peg and to whilst growing the elephant treasury. Now, the second bit is working. The elephant treasury is growing, but the first bit, unfortunately, is yet to materialize. And along the line of everything that has been popping up left and right, I noticed a few issues and a few problems that I'd like to talk about today. So those are things that I noticed. I just want to put them out there. And again, it's not to basically disregard the project itself or to talk bad about the project. It's just something that is out there in front of you, but you sometimes have to look a bit behind the curtain to notice what's been going on. One thing I want to mention at the beginning is that the point or the focal point of this video will be on the native asset elephant and its interrelationship with Trunk, the so-called stable token that isn't really stable right now, at least. But before getting into all of this, I just want to say that the elephant chart is really holding well. So if you take the previous 6 months, you can see that we are still in an uptrend overall. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the elephant treasury has been growing. It surpassed 131 trillion elephant token, and that's the valuation in dollars. Now, this right here has been achieved through the help of everything that they've been releasing. So whatever you can think of right now that is inside the elephant money protocol was mainly geared towards pushing the elephant treasury. All right, so that is the main goal. That is what they want to achieve. Now, this part, like I said, is doing really well. So this is being done. There's no issue here. You can basically count the elephant treasury as one of the holders of the elephant token, and its presence is quite important to support the obligation and the total depth of the protocol in regards to everything that they have been releasing. But here's where the problem lies. Now, shifting over to the Trunk chart, and it is quite a disaster. Now, even though they have been trying, they made the APR dynamic, so it's no longer fixed. It goes up and down depending on the price, depending how far Trunk is to its peg of a dollar value, which is around 6x right now. So if you multiply the current price by 6, you get $1. So you can do the math. So that was the first thing that they came up with, and then they started releasing lots of stuff in the hopes of helping Trunk go back to its peg. Now, there was a point in time where they said that this isn't the priority anymore. What we want to do is push Bertha or the elephant treasury to a certain amount. I don't know what was the amount that was displayed. I think 180 trillion or so. So they said that let's push Bertha to that level, and then we're gonna take care of Trunk's peg. Now, this is all nice and well, but there's one thing that we need to remember, and not only one thing, there are a few things. So let me quickly talk about what is the investor's mentality right now if you are a holder of elephant, or if you are a holder of Trunk, or most likely both. So right now, everyone who is invested here is in a situation where they hold most likely both of these two assets, and perhaps they invested in more stuff. Now, this is where it gets tricky. The elephant treasury needs to rise up, and to do so, the elephant token has to go up in value, all right? Or at least trade sideways for a very long period of time, which eventually, with the smaller circulation of the elephant token with more buyers than sellers, the price goes up and the chart continues its uptrend. Now, the main problem with the elephant treasury reaching a certain amount is that in order for this part of the protocol to help Trunk go back to its peg, because there aren't enough buyers of Trunk to do so, even with the new version of Stampede, which is you depositing 200 Trunk every time you need to compound, it's not enough. Nothing is enough, and it's clear that every buyer of Trunk needs to somehow get compensated somewhere else, and the redemption queue is very long. So this is not the solution. With the elephant treasury rising in value, like I said, it gets a bit tricky, because one, elephant tokens need to be sold, and then that money will go into buying back Trunk. Now, right now, unfortunately, without really hiding our faces behind our hands or behind any mask, and without really perpetrating the issue at face value, people who are holding elephant are taking advantage of the tiny reflections that they're getting, and they're waiting, with Bertha's help, for the token to rise up in value to a certain amount or to a certain price point where they feel comfortable selling because they made a good profit. So people are in a standstill. They're waiting for that so-called run-up, or whatever the community calls it, parabolic or exponential run-up, which is doubtful, but let's go with that scenario. So everyone is holding their breath, waiting for that to happen, with the elephant treasury growing up in value, so they can reach a certain price point and sell their elephant token at a profit. And they want to do that before the treasury sells off elephant to go and compensate Trunk. So they want to make a profit, sell their tokens at a profit, and then they want to go and hopefully, with elephant treasury's help, pushing Trunk back up, selling their Trunk at a higher value. And this is the main issue. There's so much, right now at least, Trunk being produced, and this keeps on going exponentially, and with the price point that remains 6 times under its peg. And if you go back and look at the chart right now, actually, you can see, that it has been on a downtrend ever since it had its major run up. It's not a major, it's more like a local run up, and then it started going down. So at this pace, Trunk is gonna keep decreasing in value, unfortunately. All right. And if we just do some quick math, potentially, even at this price point, there could be 10,000 BUSD being sold every day. And out of this 10,000 BUSD, there's an average of 3,000 to 4,000 BUSD sold every day. So approximately more than 30% of the Trunk produced is being sold. Now, in order for these people not to reach max payout, they have to compound a bit, but that's not the point. So there isn't anywhere near the buy pressure necessary to push Trunk or to offset even the potential sell pressure, let alone pull it back up to peg. Because if you really think about the full scenario of all of this coming together, treasury growing, people selling their elephant at a profit, then the treasury decreases to go push back Trunk, Trunk goes up, let's assume it reaches 50 cents, maybe, lots of people holding on to their Trunks, and then boom. All of this would have been for nothing. So all of this would have been for just providing the exit liquidity, or perhaps for settling the debt that the protocol owes to investors. And this is not a bad thing, really. Like, this isn't something that is frowned upon, because right now most of the people involved here have put more money that they can actually get out right now in general. So if you are invested in elephant, Trunk, and future, something that we're going to be discuss right now, but that's the goal, right? So you need to offset this debt, and if that scenario were to happen, investors would be satisfied, but all of this would have been just to quickly on and off these investors, give them back what they're owed plus some, and then start back from zero. So if that is the goal, then all right, that's fine. But then you have a new range of investors that need their debt satisfied, so it will be a never-ending loop. One quick last note that I want to mention here before finalizing and concluding this video is that everything that is coming up right now is distraction. I'm sorry, but this is the truth. The main de facto issue is trunks depegging. So all of this is just added confetti, which isn't really necessary. The original trunk investors, everyone who bought trunk at $1, is disrespected with everything that's happening. This right here, Elephant Money Futures, is just BUSD piling in to basically give back to investors in some sort of minor type of situation with obligations. So that's the only difference between this and anything else that is minor related or Ponzi related on the market. So you invest some BUSD, you get some in return, but you have to contribute to compound, meaning you are obligated to keep putting money in to take money out at some point. So if no more investors were to join this, who will be paying these investors? The Elephant Money Treasury. So we go back to the issue where there's not enough money to go around to pay all of these people. All right, so this is the main loop that I was discussing, and everything else. So I don't know, Trumpet was the value of Trumpet. It's something backed by trunk that can only go up in value. Yeah, sure, that's fine, but why would I mint this? What is the use of this? I mint this just to wait for the price to appreciate more than 5%, which is the fee to sell it again. There's not much utility to this. I don't know what's gonna happen to this. Maybe I'm mistaken, hopefully. And this is, I think, the latest, but this is a bit of a meme in my personal opinion. So they did PEP staking. I think this follows the hype. I think some of this goes to the treasury. But again, all of this is just confetti. All of this is just distraction from the main issue. And I think they derivated a lot from the main core product and the reason why so many investors got in. And that's a bit disrespectful. So with this, I'm gonna conclude this video, and I hope, I really do, even though from where I'm sitting, most likely that will not happen. Trunk goes back to peg, but again, highly doubtful even in a bull run. It could have a run up, but it will get eaten up quick. If we learn something from the exponential ever increasing obligations in these type of dApps, is that if you keep letting people increase their position without really putting more money or without the protocol itself generating some type of revenue from any other service, then it's game over at some point. But let's see. So that's it. I will finish my video here. I just wanted to lay out everything that I felt that should be discussed. And with that, see you in the next one. Have a good one.